Hey guys, and welcome to an epic showdown of the Dwarfs led by the legendary man Brindal going up against the Kislev. So the Kislevites today are going to be leading a front line, 5 units of the armoured Cossars, including 2 of them being the great weapon variants. So bringing some good armour piercing and those pistols to the battlefield to deal with the front line of the Dowie. 5 units of the regular Cossars in the back, really good at dealing with Slayers and other flying units. And then we're also going to be having the Ice Witch Tempest. Here on horseback today, she's going to be having the Arcane Conduit, as well as the Freezing Winds, a bit of a surprising one there with only 1 spell, and the fact that the Dowie are already very slow, that speed, I'm not too sure about that. But we are going to be having here Blizzard, which is a really nice expensive spell with lots of armor piercing, which should be very good on the battlefield. We're also going to have the Snowflake Pendant, giving that power recharge and reducing that miscast chance. Over on the right hand side, we are going to have 2 units of the Chariots of the Light War Sleds, and Chariots famously good up against the Dowie. Anti-infantry armor piercing in melee combat, plus bucket loads of armor piercing missile strength, which is going to be very handy up against the oncoming wave of the Dowie. So for the god of the Dwarfs, Brindal going to be leading 4 units of the miners with blasting charges, supported by the legendary miners. The boys here at the front, which are also going to be having immune to psychology, thanks to Frenzy, are going to be fighting with true gusto of old. So I'd love to see those blasting charges getting in and dirty here up against the front line of the Kislevites. 3 units of the Dwarven warriors at the front, good battled veteran hard tanky warriors. They're going to be very good here at stopping all that mass range and cheap infantry fighting on the domination points. A single unit of the miners in the back, and they're going to be supported by the armor piercing and anti-large giant slayers. These boys have great mobility, fantastic armor piercing, and can take down pretty much any monster in the game. So 1 here on either flank, and for the Lord choice, we are going to have the generic Lord. So he's going to be looking here rather fancy indeed. Love the shield, love the designs, but he's going to have the star metal plate as well as the Iron Warden's hammer. And we're also going to be having the ability of Stand Your Ground. Now for the hero, we are going to have Felix in support. Sadly, we are going to be having no Gotrek, but we are going to have the Blood Oath, which is really nice here to have healing for the Lord choice, with also here the Karagul, so his nice big great weapon, which is going to have the melee attack, bonus versus infantry, and flaming attacks. We're going to be having Helping Hand for that melee attack and damage resistance, which is going to keep a nice tip-top shape Lord choice towards the end of the game. So great builds here coming from both sides, going to be nice, cheap and cheerful. Perfect Vigor and the rest here for the Lord choice, including all those debuffs to melee attack, is going to be rather potent indeed. So charging forward into the middle, good positioning here from the Light War Sleds, good shooting at the front. I really wouldn't mind, they only have 50 armor, wouldn't mind seeing them cycle charge and try and see if they can bait out a few blasting charges, get in, out, shake it all about, and try and see if we can whittle down some of the ammunition here of these miners. But they're going to be having 4 of their units coming into the middle. We have, of course, have the double mountains on either side, so kind of push them into a chokehold here, which could be rather in the favour of the Dowie. Miners are blasting charges moving over to domination point 3, but I'm a bit surprised that we're not going to be shooting with the armoured Cossars. They're going to charge straight forward into melee combat, and they're going to eat the full blast of the miners, and that is disgusting. That's going to be about 40% health gone already. Those blasting charges are truly devastating. More coming over the top, doing some brilliant damage before they engage in melee combat. And those pickaxes have good armor piercing, really good at cracking through armor and doing good permanent damage. So they're going to be on fire. They're going to be taking a bucket load here in the front as we fight over domination point 2. Looks like Dowie here is going to have superior numbers on the point, as the remainder of their Cossars are going to be in the vanguard. So over here in the back, we are going to have Miners of Blasting Charges taking on domination point 3. And domination point 1 is going to be open and ready for the taking. In the middle, we are going to have a Blizzard catching units of the Dwarven Warriors and the Giant Slayers, slowing them down even more, including down to 13 speed there with that Law passive. In the middle, the Lord choice backed up here by Felix, going to be fighting with Stand Your Ground, given that melee defense and leadership bonuses, as we fight here with the Light War Sleds up against the Giant Slayers, which really isn't very good here for the War Sleds. In the backside here, we hear the heavy cannon fire of the units of the organ guns. 4 artillery pieces brimming with armor piercing, and that reload speed and firing is so goddamn awesome. I love it indeed. In the back, we are going to have the legendary Nor Grimling Iron Breakers, bringing their brilliant Crimson Red and 79 melee defense. Most Lords and Heroes would just be so goddamn happy to have that stat line, but the boys here charge forward with also 125 armor to the good. In the middle, we are having the Zargard, the Great Weapons, fighting in the pocket. We can see that red there on the melee stat as the Star Plate is going to be taking down that melee attack, which is going to be so crucial when fighting up against the high melee defense of the Dwarfs. Charging in the front, we have the Winged Lancers fighting up against Giant Slayers, which is a bit of a bold engagement, I must say so. We're going to take quite a bit of damage up against the Dowie, but the Dowie are going to thump back very hard indeed. We do see lots of fire going up against the Kossars in the backside. These organ guns really are putting on the pounding. On the right hand side, we are going to find that actually the Dervishes are going to be fighting up against the blasting charges on the right. Domination point 1 is going to be held here as infantry has a higher capture weight. But it looks like the miners here might be getting the best here of the Dervishes. That 40 charge bonus clearly isn't going to be enough. But are we going to be having By Our Blood maybe making a turn in the battle? We are going to be supporting with more units of miners, and that's going to be it. So it looks like Urkeron's going to return to the battlefield. Miner's going to be protecting the organ guns, and Domination point 1 now is going to be in the advantage of Kislev. But 1,000 tickets going up against 200 in the backside here, a Blizzard. We are trying to get away here with Brindal, but he is going to get caught here. That slow of the Frostbite, plus also the Law passive, is just going to be impossible for the Ironbreakers to get away from it. Lots and lots of damage indeed. That's really, really sad to see. But we do have in the front, the Giant Slayers are going to be chasing up against the Light War Sleds. They're taking a bit of a pounding here from the artillery and all the other units from the Dwarfs. We see Dwarf Warriors fighting up against Kossars. 3 units still going to be firing in the front. They do some pretty good work up against the Giant Slayers, but minus in that one, you know, take that on pretty proudly. In the pocket, Zargard are just going to get taken down here by the Lord Choice and Felix, and blasting charges over the top. Oh my god, just shred through the Zargard. The North come back here with quite a bit of vengeance. In the middle, the Ice Witch Tempest is going to be having the Snowflake activated, but she's going to be charging in and out, and I think fighting up against the Giant Slayers, which is a bit of a bold strategy. In the middle, Armored Kossars probably do need to have, you know, maybe being brought back here, a bit of housekeeping on the battlefield, just getting some of those units back in, allowing them to regen, and then coming back with full health certainly is needed. So some units over on the right-hand side, we are going to have some Bugman Rangers supported here by the miners. So Bugmans here can heal with 0.10 per second, which is really handy. There's no downside to this because you do pay for it quite heavily. They're pretty much just going to be quarrelers there with, you know, Stalk and Healing, which is you know, really rather powerful with Vanguard deployment. In the back, we are going to be having a unit of the Dervishes trying to take down up against the organ guns. Miners do charge forward to try and protect them, so pretty heroic stuff there coming from the Dowie. On the right-hand side, we have Bugmans backed up by 2 units of the miners, sending off the Dervishes, sending them packing here, but they do manage to return there just on the edge. In the middle, we are going to have more Blizzards taking down the North Ironbreakers. Really, really good focus there for the Magic on that nice elite unit. 1,650 gold just to bring that beautiful unit on the battlefield. So to have that going down just due to Magic is rather good and cost efficient. Over on the right, Armored Kossars is going to be breaking down the Dwarven Warriors, and it looks like the middle pocket here might be going in the favour of Kislev. So nice work coming forward here. We see a lot of the Light War Sleds really want to send them getting more busy into melee combat. They're going to be shooting in melee as well, so having them using as much as possible that you pay for here. 950 gold is not going to be cheap there for chariots. You need to get them in, you need to get them mixing amongst the infantry and really kind of pushing them back and preventing all of those blasting charges from wrecking your front line. So we do see the Kossars going to be fighting with By Our Blood, pushing on and forcing that domination point to tick over into the advantage of Kislev. So 2-1 here, but we do see potentially a capture coming over on domination point 1. Now, if you never expected the Dwarven Inquisition, well, here you've seen it. We're going to be having the Bugmans firing with those crossbow bolts into the face of the Dervishes, and that's going to be fast and true. That's going to do some really, really good damage. There's going to be 18 missile strength per unit firing into the face of the standing Dervishes at close range. Miners also going to be chasing off the cavalry, which miners should win in melee combat. They should do pretty well here. The armor stat will keep them alive. So it looks like the Dowie are going to be taking it 2,750 tickets, going up against 1,395. In the back here, we do see the Light War Sleds charging down the organ guns, up to 77 kills so far. Are they going to be able to hold it? Might be worth taking them off and summoning a unit that can, you know, deal with these nice war sleds. In the pocket, Ulthwar Raiders have been summoned to the battlefield. These boys are going to be Bugmans, but they don't have that liquid fortification, which is a bit of a shame. That maybe they'd be a little bit overpowered, not too sure. But, you know, hopefully they can do some good work here up against the light war sleds. We do actually see here, marked by Ulthwar going down, reducing that armor, and then also reducing that missile resistance. In the middle, going to be fighting really true here. The Lord Choice still going with that healing cap present. The same here for Felix, showing just how powerful this combination truly is. More Zargard going to be fighting in the middle. Those great weapons are so good with all that armor piercing and anti-infantry, but I really want to see some more of those blasting charges here from the Urkra miners meeting on the front line. Corsairs going to be firing in the front as well. We do actually see we are going to be chasing off the light war sleds, but lots of infantry here from the Dowie are going to be breaking. Is this going to be a comeback here from the Kislev? I'm not too sure. On the left flank, 3 very broken up units, a unit of the Snow Leopard, and then we're also going to be having the Dwarfs charging down into the face of the miners. Snow Leopard does manage to catch here on the miners. 100 speed here from this beast that brings lots of armor piercing. Should do quite well here up against the miners. They really don't have quite the stats here to deal with this single entity monster. Now we do see Bugman Rangers unable to fire here up against the single unit, but they probably ought to just hold onto their ammo and wait for the other units to come across. More of the winged largers is going to charge over to Domination Point 3. 2 is being held, but for how long? We have more Slayers coming through. We have the Ulthwar Raiders firing into the middle up against the Cossars. Those throwing axes that bring so much armor piercing to the battlefield, plus all those debuffs, is rather handy indeed. Zargard, 2 units going to be wavering in the middle. The elite of Kislev will be falling to the might of Felix and the Lord Choice. And oh my god, I think that was a cannon shot there to the back of the dome with the Lord. He took quite a bit of damage there. But we do see the Dervishes charging onto Domination Point 2, which is now going to be going into the Dowie favour. Are we going to see the legendary triple cap here coming forward from the Dowie? It's only ever been prophesized, but have we ever going to be seeing it here today? I do wonder. Maybe, just maybe, the Dowie might be able to get on top. But Dervish is going to be fighting. Norgrim is going to be holding here with the stand your ground, which means these boys, which already have about 100 base leadership, going to be fighting like the true Chads of old here at the front. And they beat back up against all the horsemen. And the Dowie get the triple cap. Nobody thought it was possible, but today we see it in full force, in full vengeance. And the legendary heroes of Kislev have been turned away. We see here Winged Lancers going to be fighting here. Snow Leopards as well, which are actually going to be wavering in the middle. Looks like the might of the Dowie are going to be just wavering here for this legendary beast. It really is struggling in the middle, and 1 unit of Slayers would just decimate this right-hand flank. But we see the Snow Leopard still holding on somehow with 3 leadership fighting here. Perhaps it's just constantly charging, not too sure here. But it is going to be holding quite nicely. The Lord Choice is going to be dead. I didn't see her fall there. But that is going to be the win. GG's and well played here to Brindal, bringing back the Dowie here in Domination. Now, if any man could do it, it was always going to be him, and I love seeing the Dowie here on the battlefield. I'll be doing some live streams coming soon, just to let you guys know very quickly. Sorry I haven't been around as much. Work has been absolutely taking over my life, but there'll be more live streams, more videos, more of this and that coming forward, so just keep your eyes peeled. So we are going to be having the Lord Choice here, 82 kills, 1,200 damage from him, 1,011 there for Felix for 101 kills. A really nice combination that held up to the very end. 950, 140 kills for 905 there for the Giant Slayers, 500 for the Urkra Miners. Miners coming in at 360, 600, 400, and 660. 300 for the Miners, and for the Dwarf Warriors, 475, 160, and 450. So 2,011 there for the Ice Witch Tempest, 1,043 of 1,006 there for the Light War Sleds. So yeah, pretty good performance from these bad boys. Nice to see them doing well. I can't help but think maybe going in and out of more melee combat might have been quite nice. Disrupting the front line there as the miners and blasting charges, perhaps forcing out a few blasting charges might have been quite nice. But we do see here 330, 211, 400, 130, and 160. Bit surprised that we didn't see the Armored Corsairs firing. They have 90 range compared to the 55 of the blasting charges, so having some good precursor damage on the miners might have been quite nice. You know, they have relatively okay armor piercing, and the miners hold two-handed pickaxes and sort of these like kind of hybrid pickaxes slash warhammers. So they don't have any shields and they have 80 armor, which is okay, but the pistols can do some pretty good precursor damage. So yeah, having those firing alongside the line of the Cossars would have been quite nice. But still nonetheless, 370, 670, 620, 675 and 477. So good value there from the regular Cossars. So from the reserves, we've got 800 there from the Nordgrunlings, really well shut down here by the Ice Witch, with also 210 kills, 2,850 damage value from one Orkan gun, just showing how powerful this entity truly is. We are going to be having 960 and 180 there from the Slayers, 522 and 630 there from the Bugman Rangers. Going to be a very strong unit here in Domination, I'm sure. 311 from the Ulthwar Raiders, 0 and 0, so no summons here from the Rangers, but 416, 300, and then no summon there for the Miners. So for Kislev, we didn't manage to see a Patriarch. A bit surprised there. Would like to see some healing on the battlefield, especially for the Tsar Guard. 920, 800, and 570 there for the Great Weapons. 700 for the Winged Lancers, and 240. 87 only for the Snow Leopard. Really surprised about that. Has good splash attacks. And it doesn't do... Well, actually, it doesn't really matter with magic damage. Yeah, I'm a bit surprised about that. That did quite poorly. Okay, fair enough. No worries. I guess maybe it was only fighting up against miners. But, yeah, bit of an interesting one. Maybe that would have been quite good there to take down up against the Lord Choice. But 360, 500, 100, and it's like 0 there for the Dervishes. So I think here, how will we go forward as Kislev? I think it's really tough. I just think more war sleds. If you can take more war sleds, but of course, rule caps and stuff do come into it. But I think more war sleds, getting busy in the front line, cycle charging, and you've got the mobility. So just trying to fight in a bit of a moss pit in the middle was never really going to be beneficial here for Kislev. They needed to fight on the outsides a little bit more, but it is quite hard on that map. So either way, a really good battle, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one. And I'll be seeing you all very soon. So take care.